Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. So, right, we need to start. So we're going to recite the 10th chapter, starting from verse 22 to the end. Any volunteer? I know Dili Gorangi Mataji always there in case nobody else is there to recite, but anybody else wants to recite? Dili Gorangi Mataji, maybe you can recite the Sanskrit?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you. And can we have somebody to do the English, please?
I can do, Prabhuji, if nobody.
Okay, sure. Shabani Mataji, fantastic. Thank you. Okay, so let me just share the screen. You can start whenever you're ready.
From 22, Prabhuji?
Yes, from 22 to the end, yes.
Okay. Humble obeisances to all the devotees. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Atah Dashma Adhyayah, text 22. Vedanam Samavedosmi, Devanam Asmi Vasavah, Indriyanam Manaschasmi, Bhutanam Asmi Chetana.
Of the Vedas, I am the Samaveda. Of the demigods, I am Indra, the king of heaven. Of the senses, I am the mind. And in living beings, I am the living force, consciousness.
Text 23. Rudranam Sankaraschashmi, Vitte Soyaksharakshasham, Vasunam Pavakaschasmi, Meruha Shikharinamaham.
Of all the Rudras, I am Lord Shiva. Of the Yakshas and Rakshasas, I am the Lord of Wealth, Kuvera. Of the Vasus, I am fire, Agni. And of mountains, I am Meru.
Text 24. Purodhasam cha mukhyam mam viddhi partha brahaspatim senaninam aham skandaha sarasham asmi sagaraha.
Of priests, O Arjuna, know me to be the chief Brahspati. Of generals, I am Kartika. And of bodies of water, I am the ocean.
Text 25. Maharshinam Bhrigur aham giram asmi ekam aksharam yajnanam japa yajnosmi stavaranam himalayah.
Of the great sages, I am Bhrigu. Of vibrations, I am transcendental Om. Of sacrifices, I am the chanting of the holy name Japa. And of immovable things, I am the Himalayas.
Text 26. Ashvattah sarva vrikshanam devarshinam cha naradaha gandharvanam chitraratah siddhanam kapilo munihi.
Of all trees, I am the banyan tree, and of the sages among the demigods, I am Narada. Of the Gandharvas, I am Chitraratha, and among perfected beings, I am the sage Kapila.
Text 27. Uchchaiha shravasam asvanam viddhi mam amritodbhavam airavatam gajendranam naranam cha naradipam.
Of horses, know me to be the Ucharishva, produced during the churning of the ocean for nectar. Of lordly elephants, I am Airavata, and among men, I am the monarch.
Text 28. आयुधानाम् अहं वज्रं धेनूनाम् अस्मि कामधुक् प्रजनश्चास्मि कन्दर्पः सर्पाणाम् अस्मि वासुकिः
Of weapons, I am the thunderbolt. Among cows, I am the surabhi. Of causes for procreation, I am Kandharpa, the god of love. And of serpents, I am Vasuki.
Text 29. अनन्तश्चास्मि नागानां वरुणो यादसामहं पितॄणाम् आर्यमा चास्मि यमः संयमतामहम्
Of the many hooded Nagas, I am Ananta, and among the aquatics, I am the demigod Varuna. Of departed ancestors, I am Aryama, and among the dispensers of law, I am Yama, the lord of death.
Text 13. प्रह्लादश्चास्मि दैत्यानां कालः कल्यतामहं मृगाणां च मृगेन्द्रोऽहं वैनतेयश्च पक्षिणाम्
Among the deities demons, I am the devoted Prahlad. Among subduers, I am Time. Among beasts, I am the lion. And among birds, I am Garuda.
Text 31. पवनः पवतामस्मि रामः साश्रभृतामहं झासाणां मकरश्चास्मि स्रोतसाम् अस्मि जानवी
Of purifiers, I am the wind. Of the wielders of weapons, I am Rama. Of fishes, I am the shark. And of flowing rivers, I am the Ganges.
Text 32. सर्गाणामादिरन्तश्च मध्यं चैवाहमर्जुन आध्यात्मविद्याविद्यानां वादः पवदतामहम्
Of all creations, I am the beginning and the end and also the middle. O Arjuna, of all sciences, I am the spiritual science of the self. And among logicians, I am the conclusive truth.
Text 33. अक्षराण अक्षराणामकारोऽस्मि द्वन्द्वः समासिकस्य च अहम् एवाक्षयः कालो धाताहं विश्वतो मुखः
Of letters, I am the letter A, and among compound words, I am the dual compound. I am also inexhaustible time, and of the creators, I am Brahma.
Text 34. मृत्युः सर्वहरश्चाहम् उद्भवश्च भविष्यताम् कीर्तिः श्रीर्वाक् च नारीणाम् स्मृतिर्मेधा धृतिः क्षमा
I am all devouring death, and I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be. Among women, I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience.
Text 35. बृहत् साम तथा साम्नां गायत्री छन्दसामहं मासाणां मार्गशीर्षोऽहं ऋतूनां कुसुमाकरः
Of the hymns in the Samaveda, I am Brit Sama, and among the poetry, I am the Gayatri. Of months, I am Markshisha, November, December, and the seasons, I am the flower-bearing spring.
Text 36. द्युतं चल्यतामस्मि तेजस्तेजस्विनामहं जयोऽस्मि व्यवसायोऽस्मि सत्वं सत्त्ववतामहम्
I am also the gambling of cheats, and of the splendid, I am the splendor. I am victory, I am adventure, and I am the strength of the strong.
Text 37. वृष्णीनां वासुदेवोऽस्मि पाण्डवानां धनञ्जयः मुनीनामपि अहं व्यासः कवीनामुशना कविः
Of the descendants of Rishni, I am Vasudeva, and of the Pandavas, I am Arjuna. Of sages, I am Vyasa, and among great thinkers, I am Ushana.
Text 38. दण्डो दमयतामस्मि नीतिरस्मि जिगीषताम् मौनं चैवास्मि गुह्यानां ज्ञानं ज्ञानवतामहम्.
Among all means of suppressing lawlessness, I am punishment, and of those who seek victory, I am morality. Of secret things, I am silence, and of the wise, I am the wisdom.
Text 39. यच्चापि सर्वभूतानां बीजं तत् अहमर्जुना न तत् अस्ति विना यत् स्यान् मया भूतं चराचरम्.
Furthermore, O Arjuna, I am generating seed of all existences. There is no being, moving or non-moving, that can exist without me.
Text 40. नान्तोऽस्ति मम दिव्यानां विभूतीनां परन्तप एष तुद्देशतः प्रोक्तो विभूतेर्विस्तरो मया.
O mighty conqueror of enemies, there is no end to my divine manifestation. What I have spoken to you is but a merry indication of my infinite opulences.
Text 41. यत् यत् विभूतिमत्सत्त्वं श्रीमदूर्जितमेव वा तत्तत् एवावगच्छत्वं मम तेजोंससम्भवम्.
Know that all opulent, beautiful, and glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor.
Text 42. अथवा बहुनैतेन किं ज्ञातेन तवार्जुन विष्टव्याहम् इदं कृष्णम् एकं सेन स्थितो जगत्.
But what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe.
ॐ तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे विभूतियोगो नाम दशमोऽध्यायः. हरे कृष्णा. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, thank you.
Sorry, I was on mute. I didn't realize I was speaking. I was saying thank you so much, Gaurangi Mataji, Atiti Gaurangi Mataji. Very, very nice, very perfect pronunciation as usual. And Shabani Mataji, very nice English as well. So yeah, we start. So yeah, by the way, if you were expecting Divinam Prabhu today, I'm sorry you're disappointed. He is unfortunately not feeling too well. So he rang me a couple of hours ago and asked me to take over. So I'll just share the screen. First of all, let me just so you can recognize this is the PowerPoint has been prepared by Divinam. This is his template. So he's actually he's done most of the work there. So I can't take credit for this class. I'm literally being transparent media. All the work has been done by Divinam. He's put this together. He sent it to me because he's coughing a lot, and he obviously would be not able to speak fluently. That's why. So let's just pray that he recovers very fast. It just sounds like a normal flu. Yeah. Okay, so we continue reading chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and we're doing chapter 10. So the summary so far, Divinam's got quite a detailed summary here. Normally I just do the headings. Divinam goes into the details. So yes, let's go through that. Understanding, so text 1 to 7 on chapter 10, understanding Krishna's nobility and how one serves him. So his origin is impossible to understand. He is the source of all. Nice verses about that. That which has been created cannot independently understand its own source. one who understands this fact serves Krishna with devotion. And then the Chatusloka Gita, 8 to 11. Maybe I won't read everything because it's there on the screen. We've gone through all that before. Then the next section, 1 to 18, how Arjuna accepts Krishna's position totally and requests to hear more of his opulences. And it is, as we always say, it's more for our benefit than Arjun's. Arjun has accepted Krishna. It's just that by understanding his opulences, we can then start to also appreciate Krishna's position. And then last section, 19 to 42, this is a whole list of Krishna's opulences. And Krishna is saying this is just a fraction of what my glory is, because the glory is endless. So what we're hearing is just a portion of it. So today's verse is 28. So we start with the invocation. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Just give me a second, I'll just get that list over here. Just making sure everybody is muted so we don't get interruptions. Okay, so text 28. Ayudanam aham vajram Venunam asmi kamaduk Prajanashchasmi kandarpa Sarpanam asmi vasuki. Of the weapons, I am the thunderbolt. Among cows, I am Surabhi. Of causes of procreation, I am Kandarpa, the god of love. And of serpents, I am Vasuki. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Let me just put my phone on silent. The thunderbolt, indeed, a mighty weapon, represents Krishna's power. In Krishna Loka, in the spiritual sky, there are cows which can be milked at any time, and they give as much milk as one likes. Of course, such cows do not exist in this material world, but there is mention of them in Krishna Loka. The Lord keeps many such cows, which are called Surabhi. It is stated that the Lord is engaged in herding the Surabhi cows. Kandarpa is a sex desire for presenting good sons. Therefore, Kandarpa is a representative of Krishna. Sometimes sex is engaged in only for sense gratification. Such sex does not represent Krishna. But sex for the generation of good children is called Kandarpa and represents Krishna. Om Ajnanati Mirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Peshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Charu Swami Niti Namine. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Peshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pashyatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So the layout is slightly different than the way I would have it. Next slide, Divanam Prabhu is nicely put, is the main focus. So 4 things is listed here. Vajram, Vajram, the thunderbolt. Surabhi cows, found in the spiritual world, can give milk anytime, any amount. Kandarpa, sex desire for presenting good sons. And Vasuki, the king of serpents. So we'll just go through these 4 items. The thunderbolt, this is the image that he put of the thunderbolt. So amongst the weapons, Krishna says he is Vajra, implying Vajra is the best weapon. Of course, as we know, these are the opulences that Krishna is putting forward to us. So of all the weapons, Vajra, of course, is the most powerful weapon. It is even more powerful than the atomic bomb that we hear of. So it is a million times more powerful than that. So that represents Krishna. So why is it so? So to understand this, we must understand what is Vajra. It is not a mere thunderbolt, though it is interpreted as such, since the meaning is lost in translation. So many times we have from Sanskrit to English. English is quite a limited language in comparison to Sanskrit. So the translation doesn't actually come out properly. But here we need to understand the origin of this Vajra. So there's a nice pastime of Dadachi Rishi and the Vajra. So the demigods at one time were constantly being defeated by a Asura called Vrittasura. Vrittasura was a very, very powerful demon, and he was all the time defeating the demigods. So when the demigods, they approached Brahma, Lord Brahma, to say that, look, how can we manage this? So he said, you need to make a weapon out of the bones of a rishi called the Dadichi Rishi. So this rishi was meditating somewhere in the forest, very, very powerful rishi. And he was approached by, you can see in this image, he's approached by the demigods headed by Indra. And Indra is requesting him for what? He's requesting him for something very unusual. He's requesting him for his life. Because he says, we need your bones. Mainly, we need your backbone, actually, to make a Vajra so we can defeat Vrittasura. So if anybody came to any one of us asking for our life, no matter how important that person was, we would say, get lost. But you can see how amazing, how compassionate the Dadichi Muni was. He reasoned that, look, this body has to end at some day. If not today, maybe a few years' time, it's going to end. And these bones will be then just be finished. So if while I'm alive, if my bones can come to use for somebody, why not? Just take it. Take my bones. So quite unusual, right? So this is how then the demigods, they take the bones of the Dadichi Rishi and they make this Vajra, and this is how they're able to conquer this very powerful demon called Vrittasura. So this is the background of this Vajra. He's put a slide here saying why Dadachi's bone. So basically they wanted the spinal cord, and because Dadachi Rishi, he was imbibing the Vedas. Basically, he was studying the Vedas. He was almost sort of completely fluent in the Vedas. So he imbibed the power of the Vedas. So his bones, of course, the whole body became the power of the Vedas. So because the Vrittasura was actually, I think in the previous slide, it is mentioned that Vrittasura appeared from a sacrificial pit, Yagya Kunda, of Vishwarupa, who actually Hare Krishna, someone needs to mute yourself. I can't see who it is. It sounds coming. Hare Krishna. Looks like that's muted, hopefully. Yeah, there's no unmuted here. So, yeah. So because he imbibed the Vedas, that's why Vedas are so powerful. So the only thing that can defeat him is again the power of the Vedic mantras, which then came from sage Dadichi, as we heard just now. So this is that about the Dadichi and the Raja. Next is Surabhi cow. So the Surabhi cow, it is mentioned in the 8th canto, 8th chapter. This 8th chapter of the 8th canto talks about the churning of the ocean, the churning of the milk ocean, where the demons and the demigods, they made a pact because they had to combine together to churn the ocean. They needed both the strengths to try and get the nectar. That nectar, once received, would make them both immortal. So we all know about this story. So they go and they churn the ocean. And this particular verse that Prabhu has put here talks about the appearance of Surabhi cow. Sri Shuka 881, Sri Shuka Uvacha, Pite Gare Vishakena, Pitaste Maradanava, Darasha Sindhum, Havirdhani Tato Bhava. So Havirdhani refers to Surabhi cow. So Shukadeva Goswami continued, upon Lord Shiva's drinking the poison, both the demigods and the demons, being very pleased, began to churn the ocean with renewed vigor. And as a result of this, appeared a cow known as Surabhi. So this ocean was churned, and a lot of things came out of it. Can anybody, maybe we can just go through what was coming out from these from the ocean, from the churning? First thing that came, go on.
Oiravat.
Airavat.
Oiravat.
Correct.
Uchchashriva horse.
The horse, Uchaseva, yes.
Kamadhenu.
Kamadhenu, we just spoke about, correct.
Elephant.
Lakshmi Devi came from that also.
Elephant. Chaudratnas, wasn't it?
Madira.
Madira, the halal poison. Now Madira came, yes, also, but the first thing that came was halal poison, which Lord Shiva had to.
Dhanvantri.
Nectar.
Right at the end, Dhanvantri came, who was the Lord of the medicine. Yes.
Shankha.
Horse.
Yes.
Shankha. Yeah.
An elephant.
Airavata, yes. Parijata, yes. Parijata tree also came there. Came from.
Yeah.
Correct.
Nectar. Amrita.
Chandra,
Yes, Amrita came. Amrita came right. Yes, that's right.
Elephant.
Kamadhenu,
Amrita.
Yes.
Nectar.
Like Dano had Madira.
Right. So you can see, yeah, there's so many important things that came from this churning of the ocean. We'll quickly read the purport to that particular text. The Prabhupada's purport. The Surabhi cow was described as Havirdhani, the source of butter. Butter, when clarified by melting, produces ghee or clarified butter, which is inevitably necessary for performing great ritualistic sacrifices. It's stated in Bhagavad Gita 18.5, Yagna Dana Tapa Kama Natrajam Karyam Evatat. Sacrifice, charity, and austerity are essential to keep human society perfect in peace and prosperity. Yagya, the performance of sacrifice is essential to perform yagya. Clarified butter is absolutely necessary, and to get clarified butter, milk is necessary. Milk is produced when there are sufficient cows. Therefore, in Bhagavad Gita 18:44, cow protection is recommended. Krishi go raksha vanijam vaishya karma svabhavajam. So this is the glorification of Surabhi cow and the necessity of milk, and of course necessity of ghee. And why? Because it comes from milk. Milk is so much necessary. Surabhi cow. The cow is glorious in many ways. The cow see, most other animals are used for mainly two purposes. Animals used sometimes for meat and sometimes for skin to make leather goods and stuff like this. But the cow is a unique animal where actually everything is used. The cow is used, the urine is used as antiseptic properties. This is now even accepted by some of the Western sciences. It's got very, very powerful antiseptic properties. Cow dung is used as very cost-effective fertilizer. You know, before all these modern fertilizers came about, which have so many side effects, we in the Desi farming, this was only cow dung, and we never heard of any allergies and any problems with health. All the modern allergies that we hear about come about all because of all these chemicals that are being used in mass farming. So, and the milk, of course, is used as a nutrient, as a superfood. Prabhupada calls it a superfood, complete food. It gives, one can survive on milk alone. Nowadays, of course, it's very fashionable to become vegan and also give up milk, but that is not the Vedic system. Milk is very much necessary for human growth. Milk also helps to produce the finer cells of the finer part of the brain, finer tissues of the brain. Tissue is the word I was looking for. So milk is very, very important. Prabhupada is saying here in the Bhagavatam, 1st Canto 17:13, the bull and the cow are symbols of the most offenseless living beings, because even the stool and urine of these animals are utilized in human society. So that is the cows. Then Kandarpa. So Prabhupada says in the, the verse says, Krishna says, I am of the causes of procreation, I am Kandarpa, the god of love. So this Kandarpa, what is the name, what other name for Kandarpa? Sanskrit name?
Cupid.
Cupid is English name. Sanskrit name?
Kamadev.
Kamadev, exactly. Kamadev. And so Kamadev is also mentioned, basically the fact that Krishna, he says, I represent Kamadev, it came across in 7 chapter 11 in Bhagavad Gita. Balam balavatam chaham kama raga vivarjitam dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamosmi paratarshava. I am the strength of the strong, devoid of passion and desire. I am sex life, which is not contrary to religious principles, O Lord of Bharatas. So just exactly as this particular verse that we're doing today, Prabhupada, the purport said that Krishna is the sex life of regulated sex. So not for sense gratification, but sex life for producing good progeny is Kamadev, and of course Kamadev is representative of Krishna. Kamadev, the other important things about Kamadev, I think I spoke a couple of weeks ago, we were speaking about how Kamadev or Kandarpa is requested by the demigods when they were not able to defeat the Danavas. This is a very recurring theme where the demigods, when they can't defeat, they will go to Brahma and request for help. And in this case, they were asked to approach Lord Shiva, because Lord Shiva's son would become the general of the army of the demigods, and this is the only way they could defeat. And there's a story of how they convince Kamadev to disturb the trance of Lord Shiva. And as a result of the disturbance, Lord Shiva opens the third eye, and Kamadeva is burned to ashes. He then appears and he emerges into the body of Krishna, because he was a devotee of Krishna. From the body of Krishna, from the heart of Krishna, he's transferred into the heart of Rukmini. He is then transferred into the womb of Rukmini and is born as Pradyumna. So he is Pradyumna is the incarnation of Kamadev. In some accounts, though, slightly different. They say it's Ishamba who was the incarnation of Kamadev. But this is sometimes understood. Acharyas explain this as a kalpa bheda. So in different kalpas, some different personalities take over certain things like that. So then he talks about Vasuki, this wonderful pastime of the churning of the ocean. So you can see in this picture, Vasuki is used as a churning rope to churn the ocean, because both the demigods and the demons were interested in the nectar that would come out, and they would make Amrita. Amrita, the meaning of word Amrita is deathless. Amrita means death. Amrita means no death. So Amrita, by taking Amrita, they would become deathless. So this plan was made. Both of them decided we will combine our forces, and they used Vasuki to churn the ocean. What was the rod that they used to churn the ocean?
Was a Mandarachal Parvat, Prabhu?
Yes, correct. Thank you, Prabhupada Mataji. Mandara Mountain. Mandara Mountain, very, very big mountain, which all the combined force of the demigods and the demons, they couldn't carry. They were carrying it, but they had to keep putting it down. It was so heavy. And then Vishnu comes with the Garuda to help them to move the Mandara Mountain into the ocean, Milk Ocean, and they're churning the ocean with the help of Vasuki. And then all the Mandara Mountain was so heavy that it starts to sink. And then who comes across to help to stabilize the mountain?
Vishnu, Kurma Avatar.
Vishnu in the Karmadev. As Karmadev, he came, and then he became the support inside the water, so that the mountain could be supported and churned properly. And it was such a heavy mountain, but it is said that when the mountain was being churned, all Kurmadev could feel was just a little bit of itching on his back. So this is how huge and how powerful Kurmadev, of course, was. So this is covering the main points of this verse. Anybody has any questions, anything to add?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Is Gandharpa is Kamdev?
Kamadev, yes. Gandharpa is Kamadev. See, the other interesting fact is that Kamadev is portrayed here, as we saw in that, let me see where it was. Yeah, here is shown riding on a parrot, and he is supposed to have arrows made of flowers. So in the Western philosophy, they also have Cupid, and Cupid is also god of love. In Vedic philosophy, the Kamadev and Gandharpa also is god of love. So you can see that this kind of very similar things coming out in different religious systems shows you that at one time, as the Vedas confirm, that at one time there was only one religion. There was only one science, which was the Vedic science. And the whole world was following it. But over time, things got separated, and then this slightly different religions came about. But you can see that there's all religions have their root in the Vedic philosophy. So interesting fact that yes, the Gandharpa is also Cupid, or Eros, they call it Eros, right? In the Western philosophies. So
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
another name for Gandharpa is Ananga.
Okay.
Ananga means also Cupid, also Kamadev. Ananga, so Anga means a body, and Ananga means without body. So apparently, when after Lord Shiva burned him to ashes, he had no body. But by the blessings of Lord Shiva and Parvati, he was still able to live as a living being, but without a body. That's why his name is Ananga. So one of the other names of Ananga. And there are names, I think I know one of the devotees, her name is Ananga Mohini. So Ananga Mohini means the one who enchants even Cupid. Ananga Mohini.
Okay.
Like the other name is Madan Mohan.
I think she was called Rati, wasn't it? Kamdev's wife was Rati.
Yes, yes. Kamdev's wife was Rati. And very nice story actually, because Rati, after this incident, when Kamdev lost his body, and then of course he was transferred into Rukmani's womb, and that all went on. So Rati Devi was left alone, and what she did then, Rati Devi,
Got me upset.
she changed her name to Uma Devi. Is it Uma Devi or Maya Devi, something like that? And she took occupancy in the kitchen as a kitchen worker of a very powerful king whose name was Shambara, King Shambara. So this he was a king, a very powerful king, but he was told by some sage that the first son of Krishna will be with the cause of your death. So this Rati Devi or Maya Devi, she worked in the kitchen, and as soon as Pradyumna was born, this Shambara, he went to here with his mystic powers. He went and kidnapped this baby. So Pradyumna, when he was only like 10 days old, it is said that he was still in the maternity room of the palace. That's where this Shambara, King Shambara, he kidnapped Pradyumna, and he dropped him in the middle of a big lake or river, something like that, just to get rid of him, because he knew that he was going to be the cause of his death. So what happened then was that a large fish swallowed this baby, and some fishermen caught this fish in their fish net. So it was the custom in those days that if something very valuable was found by anybody, they would take it to the king and give it as a gift to the king. The king would in turn look after them in terms of give them gifts or take special care of them. So these fishermen then they took this fish, which is a very large fish, to Sambara, and Sambara thanked them and sent the fish to the kitchen to be cooked. So when the head cook was cutting the fish open, a little baby came out of there. And Rati Devi, who was there as Maya Devi, Mayavati, she recognized her husband, because basically it is said that when you're very close to somebody, even after this life, apparently, if you meet them, you will somehow there'll be a connection. You will recognize them. And just on this subject, something that came to my mind is that Bhakticharu Swami Maharaj, my Gurudev, he once was telling us during a lecture, something similar some subject like this came up. And he said that, I have a very strong feeling that because I had such a close association with Prabhupada, I know that even in my next life, if I meet Prabhupada, I will recognize him. He said that very, very powerfully. So now that we know that now he is with Prabhupada, and they both recognize each other. But coming back to this story, because of a similar situation, this Rati Devi was able to recognize this baby as her husband. So she requested the head cook that, can I please take this baby and look after him? And the head cook, of course, agreed, because there was nothing else they could do with the baby. So she took over the baby. So this baby, of course, being a powerful child of Lord Krishna, didn't grow up as a normal child, but grew up within days. That baby just grew up into an adult. And then Rati Devi then explained the situation to this Pradyumna, and told him that, look, this Shambhala, he is been told by the first child of Krishna will kill him, and you are that enemy of him. So you better be proactive and kill him rather than him kill you, because otherwise he will kill you. He's a very powerful king. And Maya Devi knew about the particular secret of mantras that would counter some of the weapons or tricks of Shambhara. So what Pradyumna then, when Pradyumna went and confronted Shambhara, when he realized it was, my goodness, this child has survived and he's now come in front of me as to challenge me, he started to attack him. There was a big fight going on. And Shambhara was very powerful. There's a lot of Vedic, not Vedic, but sort of Maya Shaktis he had. So with these kind of Shaktis, with these kind of powers, mystic powers, he created so many different things. He was creating mirrors everywhere, and wherever Pradyumna saw him, he shot an arrow, but that happened to be just a mirror. He was laughing somewhere else, something like that. So all these magic tricks were going on. And then Pradyumna remembered the countering mantras that his mother has given, his wife had given to him, that the Devi had given. So he chanted those, and that's the powers of the mystic power of Shambhara disappeared, and Pradyumna was able to kill the Shambhara. So this was the end of Shambhara. And then Rati Devi then takes Pradyumna back to the palace of Krishna, and reunites him with the family there. So apparently when they arrive there, he looks so much like Krishna that some of the ladies there, they actually thought he was Krishna himself. This is the story of Shambhara and Pradyumna and this Kandarpa. So thank you for bringing that up. That reminded me of this story. Any other points, anybody?
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thanks for the class. I've got a question quickly. That's all right.
Thank you, Luke Prabhu. Go on.
Yeah, a couple of questions. Firstly, so like the battles that are going on between the Asuras and the demigods, are these happening on the heavenly? They happen on the heavenly planets, or is it happening somewhere on Jambudvipa somewhere?
So that's a good question. So the in those days, of course, the demons as well as the demigods were able to travel, interplanet travel. So these fights could be happening in any of those planets. So it's not quite clear. It's not been mentioned exactly where.
Okay. And just another quick question on that topic. So I think it's Canto 5 talks about with Lord Brahma and Shiva that they have they cover the 4 like cardinal directions around Mount Meru, and Brahma's got an abode, like a golden abode there. And so is that separate from Brahma Loka, that is part of Jambudvipa, which is part of Bhumandala, like this earth, this plane?
So no, so the thing is, Brahmaloka would be not together with Jambudvip. Jambudvip, different plane. Jambudvip is the earthly planet, and Brahmaloka is way higher than that.
Okay, but Brahma still has a position here on Jambudvipa, obviously, right?
Yeah, if I'm not quite familiar with the verses that you're referring to, but Brahma, yeah, as far as I understand, Brahmaloka is of course Satyaloka, which is the highest planet in the universal planetary system, and I don't believe that Brahma would come down, and he would come down whenever he was asked to come down. But I'm not aware of a permanent abode for Brahma on the Jambudvipa. I will need to look at that. Thank you, Luke Prabhu.
That's okay, yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, so if there is no other questions, we can go into the introductions. I will